He cracks a lot of jokes. I mean, he's a real funny guy. Uh,
We made a couple jokes, when I passed him up in the Steels record. I really didn't know he was that high up in the Steels record, so he was kind of upset that I beat him. But it's a great thing, me competing against my coach when I found out, and I was able to get him at the end. But it's just a great experience, him being my coach and he already been through the war. We look up to that.
Something cool you don't know about Coach Jones is he's a pretty cool dancer.
Back on Sports 225, I'm Lee Feinsfog. My guest, Johnny Jones, the LSU head basketball coach. And we have known each other a long time. Since I got here in December 1984, and you and Dale Brown looked over and said, "Who is that guy sitting over there?" Oh, my.
No, I thought you and Coach had a very interesting relationship, and you were certainly doing your job.
I can imagine some of the adjectives I was described about in private. I could just imagine.
Well, you'd be shocked. Coach obviously didn't operate that way, and everything that I think he thought. I thought he's certainly the kind of person that you're going to hear it, and I think he may have told you more than he told me. He was not the kind of guy that behind the scenes.
And he and I couldn't be closer now. We talk often, and we enjoy seeing each other and stuff. But boy, did we butt heads. Oh my. Anyway, that's here or there. So last year, you've got this interesting group. You got Anthony Hickey, who I think is one of the most underrated, underappreciated point guards in America. Forget the SEC. And you got Johnny O'Bryant, and you got a couple other kids, who came in and you did wonders with. And of course, we talk about him, Andrew Del Piero. But there was a point, and it was a desperation moment in December, and you went to a full court press, down by many. And it turned things around. And then that became a weapon that just really lifted your team and rattled other teams all season long. Well, what was the genesis behind that, and how it was so effective?
Well, good thing is when we were at University of North Texas, we ran a lot of their diamond press, little 1-2-1-1 press. We thought that created some easy scoring opportunities for us. We forced other teams into quick shots or turnovers, and we would turn those over into some easy scoring opportunities. We found ourselves behind. I think we're down 17 with only 16 minutes to go against Seton Hall early in the season.
That's the one.
We had to try to do something to disrupt their flow. They were really good offensively, excellent in the half court, and so we wanted to try to make them play a little faster, and we implemented the press there in the second half, and we didn't have many numbers in terms of guys. We were limited in terms of people that we could put in, but I thought our guys expended all the energy that they had that night. We wound up putting Siobhan Coleman in at the point of that press, and I thought those guys played extremely hard. And from that game, after we were able to come back from 17 down and win the basketball game, it was encouraging because I saw a different basketball team even just the next day at practice, and those guys believed and they never felt that we were out of games, and that's the way that they played throughout the season.
Yeah, when you went small, you went really quick and really ferocious. And I thought those guys. Okay, so they go on to have a really good season, get postseason play, which I thought, like I said at the beginning, I thought was an absolute pipe dream. It gave you something really good to launch on. But then came recruiting season, and I'm not talking about high school kids. I'm talking about re-recruiting the guys you have, which has become a really tough job for college coaches now. There have been rumblings that Johnny O'Bryant wanted to turn pro, which any of us who watched the game know he wasn't ready for. He needed this year coming back, and there's talk about Hickey maybe transferring. Malik Morgan might have transferred. And I was like, what in the world's going on here? So you had to get proactive and counsel as well, right?
Well, biggest deal for us, all those things were being said out there, is not really much of it that we really had to address. Johnny wanted to make sure that we gave him all the necessary information that he needed to make a good, solid choice for his future. A lot of the information that we received back from the NBA was going to possibly a late first-round draft pick, early second. When Johnny came as a freshman, he was wanting to be a one and done. It said a lot about our team, the guys that we have in the program, and whether these guys are mentally, that Johnny would come in and say that although that he have those other opportunities out there, look forward to coming back, playing with his basketball team because he think that he, one, have more to learn, and he thought that we had an excellent group of guys that were returning, did a great job in terms of recruiting that was going to give him a chance to be successful in college. That was special to him. I think that speaks volumes about Johnny, and that's something that he made a decision on his own without us sitting there trying to be in a selfish way, trying to get him to stay for the wrong reasons.
Well, and you, I mean, are going to be forthright with kids, I'm sure. If it's time, if you think it's in their best interest to leave, you're going to tell them to go, and, you know, take that chance, right?
Well, absolutely, but
Yeah.
our job is to make sure that we give them all the necessary information that they need. And one, they need to know what the NBA people there were saying about them, their talent level, and how they feel that they'll make the transition from college to the pros. So Johnny was good and sound enough and a very smart individual, and I thought he made the right choice for him. And we're excited. Because I think although we had a great recruiting year, I think the biggest recruit was making sure that we kept Johnny O'Brien here because he'll definitely be a force to be reckoned with this season.
Yeah, and, you know, Hickey seems to be all in, even though I liked it when he had longer hair.
Yeah,
You know, this new little buzz cut. I'm not, you know,
I tell you, Hickey's really been good in games. He's probably one of the best. He practices extremely hard and gets after it and give you a great deal of effort on the floor.
and you got his attention early, too. You know, he wasn't necessarily buying into the Johnny Jones system when you first got here, and I think you got his attention, and that really helped.
Well,
and
I
to his
think-
credit, he bought in.
Well, I think he always bought into our system on the floor.
Right.
And how hard we needed him to play and being very active. And he's passed with flying colors in that area. It was just some of the things we had to always address off the floor. And he's not a bad young man. He's a great guy. And we just want to make sure that he understands and see the big picture. And it's not just about basketball. We've got to just make sure that we help him continue to develop. And we have to learn it through life lessons.
Were you a good student at LSU?
Well, the thing that I did do, I made sure that I got to class on time. I learned a quick lesson, you know, watch those guys from Ethan Martin to Rudy Macklin and then James Brett over in football, who was a tremendous student, lived in a library, and you understood that you had to put the time in really to be successful. And I knew that I had to put my time in, and everybody wasn't. When I saw Ethan Martin didn't make it in the NBA, I knew right away that as great a player as he was, that there's a chance that I might not, my number may not be called. So academically, I had to put forth that effort, and we're very fortunate that it worked out for us.
And you still haven't said if you were a good student or not, because he just got a job with Dale and stayed. And then, see, no one's probably ever checked your grades. Ever. Why would they check your grades?
Well, I had an
Yeah.
opportunity, and I sit there and made sure that I graduated.
That's
so, I
right.
mean, I think that
Hey, nobody
constitutes
checked
being
mine
a
either,
good
thank
student.
goodness. Ooh. You know,
Well, no, I worked at it, so so that's why it's okay for me to be able to tell guys they've got to go to class, they've got to get to study hall because you know I walked that campus as well, and I had to do that as well.
well, you know, in today's world, if you're an athlete, you're such a public figure. They know if, I mean, they knew anyway, but now, I mean, they know if you're in class. They know if you're screwing around. You know, they know if you're paying attention. They know if you're getting good grades. I mean, the other kids, the world at large, right? And there's a responsibility there.
Well, it's really important. And like you said, I think there's that net that's casted over, and anytime you have the social media and all that those things are out there. But one, you want to make sure you do it because it's the right thing. And what you want to do is start your training now. Those guys, their responsibility is to be at class on time. They need to be at study hall on time. They've got to get to practice on time. And anytime they're given responsibilities, I think all that rolls over into when all the basketball and things are over, that you've conditioned yourself, that you understand what being on time and being efficient is all about. And that's one of the things that we like to help these young guys understand at an early age.
All right, let's take a break. When we get back, we'll talk about some of your freshmen and some rule changes and all that kind of stuff going on in
Great.
basketball. Johnny Jones, he's the LSU basketball coach. I'm Lee Feinswag. This is Sports 225.